Thank you very much indeed, and a special welcome to everyone. I'm Martin Haese. I'm the Chair of the Premier's Climate Change Council in South Australia. I'll start with an acknowledgement to country. We acknowledge this land that we meet on today as the traditional lands of the Kaurna people, and that we respect their spiritual relationship with country. We also acknowledge that the Kaurna people as custodians of the Adelaide region and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. We also pay respects to the cultural authority of Aboriginal people visiting and attending from other areas of South Australia or Australia present with us today. On behalf of the Premier's Climate Change Council, it is my great pleasure to welcome everyone here to U-City to this very special event in supporting the SA Climate Leaders Awards. And I'd first like to begin by acknowledging the presence of the Honourable Dr Susan Close, Deputy Premier and Minister for Climate, Environment and Water. Deputy Premier, welcome. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow members of the Premier's Climate Change Council, Professor Richard Turner, Penny Schultz, Craig Wilkins, Daniel Connolly, and in absent today is former Lord Mayor Sandy Verschoor, Daniel Bennett and Susan Jeans. I'd like to acknowledge Mayor Jill Whittaker from the Campbelltown City Council, Mayor Simon Rothwell attending online this evening from the District Council of Yankalilla, Mayor Heather Holmes-Ross from the City of Mitcham, Mayor Michael Coxon from the City of West Torrens, and Mayors, congratulations on your recent local government election results. In addition, I'd like to welcome some board chairs who are with us today. David Greenow, Chair, Hills and Fleurieu Landscape Board, Chris Daniels, Board Chair from Green Adelaide, Alan Holmes, Chair of the Board from SA Water. Can I also welcome Mr John Schutz, Chief Executive from the Department for Environment and Water, and Dr Paul Hethersay from the Department for Energy and Mining. Also I'd like to acknowledge Simon Sharple and the team from Uniting Communities, who have been an important champion in climate action within our state for some time now. Their leadership in being the first organisation in South Australia to be certified carbon neutral was acknowledged at the inaugural South SA Climate Leaders Awards back in 2016. They have continued to build on this leadership with U-City, where we meet this evening, being the first whole carbon neutral building in South Australia. And I think that deserves a round of applause. South Australians have understood the challenges of climate change for decades, but they've also recognised the opportunities. With demand for climate change solutions forecast to present a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity over the next 2 decades, South Australia is indeed well positioned to benefit from the economic opportunities arising. But also, putting it simply, it's the right thing to do. This is largely thanks also, in terms of the economic opportunities, to our competitive advantages in renewable energy, skilled workforce, infrastructure and innovation, and much of which is, of course, on display at tonight's event. The SA Climate Leaders Awards recognise the people, the organisations and the communities from across our state that are leading action to address climate change. Applicants for these awards are examples of those innovative and inspiring South Australians from across the state who are supporting the low emissions transition and building resilience to climate change impacts. These awards are an opportunity to promote their stories and to motivate others to take action. So we thank you for your leadership. I want to acknowledge the hard work, the leadership and the innovation demonstrated by each and every individual and organisation who have nominated for tonight's awards. We have received a record number of submissions this year, and the Council was very impressed with the range and qualities of entries submitted. And I'd like to thank the judging panel from the Premier's Climate Change Council for the hard work that they have done over recent months to bring this together. It's no easy task, I can assure you. We've also had, of course, as you can see by the size of the audience here this evening, we've had an impressive response to this event. Every 2 years, for those that have been with us in previous years, you would see that this event is continuing to grow. and I think that's by no coincidence. It's also great that so many of you could be here tonight, especially also those that have travelled from regional South Australia. Thank you, and thank you to those, because we've got a sizable audience also joining us online this evening. I'd now like to welcome to the stage the Honourable Dr. Susan Close, Deputy Premier and Minister for Climate, Environment and Water, to say a few words. Thank you and welcome.
Well, there are a lot of people here. How wonderful. Thank you for that welcome and that introduction, Martin. And having just returned from COP, I will give a brief summary of my experience there. But first, I would like to add my personal acknowledgement that we are on the lands of the Kaurna people and how proud I am to have been born to live and work on the traditional Aboriginal lands of South Australia. It always was Aboriginal land and it always will be, and it's never been ceded. And I personally am very excited, although slightly terrified, by the prospect of a referendum where we finally, as a country, get to choose if we're going to fully embrace reconciliation and fully not only acknowledge the wrongs of the past and the present, but celebrate Aboriginal culture in the way that it should be. I missed saying that while I was in Egypt. It seemed odd to be at formal meetings and not start with a welcome or an acknowledgement of country. I, as I say, just was in Egypt for COP, and it's the first experience I've had of that big machine. And I have for so long been concerned about climate change, although I probably knew about it far earlier. Back in 2003, I worked with Tim Flannery. Alan Holmes was the boss of the department at the time, and Tim Flannery, was writing The Weathermakers. And it was then that I took seriously just how big and how disastrous this unfolding experience for us all is. And nothing since then really has damped my climate grief. If anything, it's got bigger over time as we're continuously told that we only have a few more years to do something. That's been true for at least 50 years, that we've only had a few years to do something. And so I went to COP with some degree, not of cynicism, but perhaps of scepticism about how a big beast like that can make much of a difference. And I think despite my profession, I have a slight allergy to the forced optimism that one sees when everyone's in the same place trying to sell that they have the best answer to the problem. And yet it seduced me over the time that I was there. And I think it did so because when I think back to my time back into the early 2000s, or even before when I was in the environment movement being a Greenpeace activist, had you told me that there would be an annual meeting of literally tens of thousands of people brought together to try to deal with a single environment problem, however big and multifaceted it is, I probably wouldn't have believed that that was possible. And yet in Egypt this year and in different locations every year, we have these people coming together, recognising a problem and seeking to find its solution. And nearly all of them with good intent. Not all. Some people are there to sell their wares, there's no doubt, but most people there extraordinarily well-intentioned. One of the themes this year that I found particularly moving were the number of people who identified as First Nations people in their countries, most of them young, not all, who are furious with the rest of us, and rightly so. But we're in a place where they could fully express that and expect to be heard. And while, as I understand it, the negotiations have finally wound to a halt and are not all that one could want them to be, they're certainly more than they might have been. And I do take some comfort in that. We have a really good story to tell, though, in South Australia. And when I told that story in a number of forums, I saw in the audience that people listened and felt like maybe there was a place that was doing some good things. To tell people that we have nearly 70% of our electricity being produced in the last reporting period by intermittent renewables, which puts us at the forefront of the world, that in that reporting period for 180 days, 100% of our electricity was produced by intermittent renewables. And indeed, for 156 glorious continuous hours, we were producing enough electricity to supply 100% from renewable. That's a world beater. And when you say that to people overseas, you suddenly realise that what we're doing is special and valuable, not just to ourselves, but as an exemplar to others. Now, there's a lot more that needs to be done, and we still produce far too many carbon emissions in this state, let alone in the rest of Australia. But I've come back from COP with a renewed determination. And I've come back from COP, this is my first proper working day, to a group of people who deserve celebration because they are doing the next generation of things that's required to be done so that we truly, not only as a world, but here in South Australia, demonstrate that we can live a zero carbon future. So I want to thank you for providing that joy tonight, that celebration, that opportunity, and we'll keep going together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Premier, and we are thrilled that you represent South Australia in Egypt at COP27. As the Deputy Premier said, is that South Australia's got an extraordinary story to tell, locally, nationally and internationally. Tonight is about telling your extraordinary stories, the work that you are all doing, the innovation that you're all bringing in the climate space, in the sustainability space. And as I know the judges from the Premier's Climate Change Council who worked through in great detail each of the applications will testify to, it is just incredible the things that are happening in this state. And so tonight is very much to celebrate that, to acknowledge your good work and to celebrate the innovation that you're bringing to South Australia. So well done in advance to absolutely everybody who put in an application for the Climate Leaders Awards 2022. Tonight, we're recognising the finalists and the winners in 4 categories, and they are business and industry, community, government, and research and education. And the Council has also selected one overall winner from the various category winners for the major prize of $10,000. And for each of the categories, I will announce the finalists first and invite each of the finalists after I've spoken to the stage to have a photograph and receive an acknowledgement from the Minister, from the Deputy Premier, and then I will announce the finalists for each of the categories. At the end, I will then, from the winners of each of the categories, announce the overall winner, who wins the $10,000 prize this evening. So, I think without further ado, let's listen to some of the extraordinary stories of South Australian innovation. I'll begin with the business and industry category. Entries in this category were received from a range of small to medium and to large size organisations, businesses across the state, including consultancies, hospitality sector, industry, broadly speaking, and many more. And the industry's demonstrated how business is working to become more sustainable and looking to collaborate with other businesses, with the community, with their customers for climate action. The Premier's Climate Change Council has selected 2 finalists in this category, in addition to the winner this evening. So let's kick off with the Business and Industry Award category finalists. The first finalists in the Business and Industry Award category is Hallett Group for their innovative Green Cement Framework Initiative. Well done. And as I speak about Hallett Group's extraordinary achievements here, I'll invite the Deputy Premier to come to the stage and a representative, if I could please, from Hallett Group to join the Deputy Premier for a photograph. Hallett Group is a member of the MSP Group of companies, the largest integrated supplier of construction, mining and building materials in South Australia. They are investing in sourcing industrial waste byproducts such as fly ash to turn into low-carbon green cement products using renewable energy sources. Hallett Green Cement Framework will source materials from South Australian industrial waste streams which can replace greater than 50% of traditional high CO2 emitting clinker-based cement production processes. They will supply these materials and green cement products to their customers. The primary manufacturing operation will be based at Port Augusta and will extract and utilise historic waste fly ash from the previous Port Augusta Power Station operations. There are also opportunities for manufacturers such as Liberty Whyalla Steelworks and Nearstar Port Pirie to provide valuable materials into the project and reduce on-site environmental footprint. The operation intends to run on 100% demand-managed renewable energy. Hallett Group estimate this project will result in an approximate reduction of 350,000 tonnes of carbon dioxide emissions per year. Congratulations and well done to Hallett Group. The next finalist is Planet Ark Power for their leadership in enabling the clean energy transition. Well done. And I'll invite a representative from Planet Ark Power to join us on stage for a photograph and the certificate with the Deputy Premier. Well done to you. Planet Ark Power partnered with IKEA and Epic Energy with support from SA Power Networks and the state government to deliver the IKEA microgrid project. The IKEA microgrid in Adelaide will combine a 1.21 megawatt of rooftop solar, covering a space almost the size of a football field, with a 3.4 megawatt per hour battery housed on site in 3 40-foot containers. This will meet 70% of IKEA's annual energy needs. And as we know, IKEA is a large footprint in terms of an operation. Planet Ark Power's energy management system will enable the remaining solar energy to be restored and safely exported in large quantities into the South Australian network to be used by the wider community. It does this by solving the fundamental problem of voltage fluctuations, a technical challenge that can prevent large amounts of distributed solar energy from multiple rooftops from being exported into the electricity grid. The energy management system represents a unique blend of Australian technology, innovation and application. The project aims to prevent 890 tonnes of carbon dioxide emissions annually. Congratulations and well done. Now, for the winner of the Business and Industry category. Congratulations to CH4 Australia for their innovation and leadership in working towards a solution to reduce methane emissions. Do we have a representative? CH4 Australia is on a mission to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from ruminant livestock. The company processes local Asparagopsis seaweed and formulates it into feed supplements to help farmers reduce livestock methane emissions. The supplements are estimated to reduce methane in cattle burps, that's a polite term, by up to 90%. Noting the increased global warming potential of methane compared to carbon dioxide, this work could result in significant emissions reductions if applied nationally and globally. CH4 Australia has a 5-year target to reach 150 million cattle, 10% of the world's total, on all 6 habitable continents, resulting in an estimated 1 gigatonne of carbon dioxide equivalent prevented emissions. CH4 Australia is also working with First Nations with a plan to establish a partnership model merging traditional and technology-aided approaches. This work was considered to be important to helping South Australia and the world to reduce emissions from a hard-to-abate sector. The judging panel also agreed that this project was an excellent example of collaboration with First Nations. Congratulations and well done. Well done. Now, our next category this evening, ladies and gentlemen, it's the community category. And entries in this category spanned across a number of inspiring sectors, including biodiversity conservation, waste avoidance, and soil enhancement. The Premier's Climate Change Council has selected one finalist in this category, in addition to the winner. The finalist is Mackie Biochar for their volunteer work on making carbon-negative biochar. Do we have a representative from Mackie Biochar with us this evening? Congratulations. Maki Biochar is a volunteer-led community organisation looking to demonstrate how local residents can play a part in climate change action. Biochar is a charcoal-like substance that is claimed to act as a soil improver as well as to help store carbon in the soil. It sequestrates carbon from the atmosphere. Local volunteers burn wood bio-waste to create the biochar, then sell the product to local councils, retailers, commercial farmers and home gardeners. Maki Biochar claims to have prevented 24 tonnes of carbon dioxide from entering the atmosphere. Congratulations and well done on a fantastic community project. The Deputy Premier is getting lots of exercise this evening. Now for the community category winner. Congratulations to Deirdre Knight for building awareness of climate change. Deirdre is building awareness of climate change through biodiversity projects in urban communities. Deirdre is an individual with a passion for education, for sustainability and climate action advocacy, who focuses on programs to engage schools and local communities. Deirdre engaged Ottaway residents for a Seeds for Change initiative to grow 2,500 endemic plant species seedlings, with 1,000 being planted on council land and the remainder being distributed to residents. Deirdre also worked with the SA chapter of Australian Association of Environmental Education to raise awareness of the importance of local butterflies in the state's ecosystem. A further 1,500 plants have been grown and planted through this work. She's now working with Kaurna elders and also St Joseph's Highmarsh School community to build awareness around the traditional use of plants, with a nature trial to be established at the school. Deirdre, congratulations and well done. Next category. So the next category is the government category. We received a range of entries from across the state and local government sectors, including a number of excellent examples of collaboration within and outside of government. The Premier's Climate Change Council has selected 2 finalists in this category in addition to the winner. The first finalist is Aaron Hausler from the Department for Industry, Innovation and Science. Congratulations. This is for global collaboration through the CivTech Alliance, a global scale-up program. Aaron is the co-founder of the CivTech Alliance Global Scale-Up Program and South Australia's lead in the Alliance. The program brings together leading innovation programs around the world to deliver a global platform for accelerating the growth and impact of net zero and climate tech companies. In its first year, 18 companies from 9 countries, including one from South Australia, were chosen to participate in a 7-week scale-up safari where they met with climate policymakers, procurers and customers to scale their climate tech solutions globally. Participants were then invited to showcase their solutions at the United Nations 26th Climate Change Conference of the Parties, COP26, in 2021 last year. In 2022, 16 companies from 12 countries, including 2 from South Australia, participated in the safari and presented at COP27 in Egypt. Aaron, congratulations and well done. Right. And Aaron, you've been acknowledged by the Scottish Government, who were evidently singing your praises, according to the Deputy Premier, so well done. In Egypt. We are part of a global community here this evening at UCity, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our government category finalist is Murraylands and Riverland Landscape Board for landscape restoration in South Australia in the South O'Leary Plains. Congratulations. The Murraylands and Riverland Landscape Board is one of 8 regional landscape boards established to deliver practical, on-the-ground programs to manage landscapes in South Australia. The board is leading large-scale collaborative cross-border conservation action to restore the balance of the Mallee ecosystem to help it adapt to the impacts of climate change. This project is restoring an 850,000 hectare landscape by removing permanent water sources, managing feral animal populations, and collecting, storing and propagating seeds. The removal of permanent water is claimed to have reduced the number of feral rabbits, goats and kangaroos, which has led to revegetation and a rise in the number of threatened mallee birds. This project is being delivered in collaboration with neighbouring landowners in South Australia and New South Wales, non-government and research organisations, First Nations and local community groups. Congratulations to the Murray and Riverland Landscape Board. Well done. Now, of course, the Murray and Riverland Landscape Board was a category finalist, and I'm now going to move on to the winner of the government category. So, congratulations to SA Water for shaping a sustainable energy future through their Zero Cost Energy Future Initiative. Do we have a representative from SA Water? As the state's water services management entity, SA Water is a significant electricity user with electricity costs of approximately $70 million in 2021-22 financial year. SA Water's Zero Cost Energy Future is claimed to be a water industry world first, which aims for a zero cost energy future to sustainably reduce operational costs as well as the organisation's environmental footprint. This will be achieved through the delivery of complementary initiatives, including renewable energy generation and storage and energy efficiencies. In the past 2 years, SA Water has installed more than 367,000 solar panels across 33 sites, generating up to 242 gigawatt hours, or around 70% of its energy needs from renewable sources. This is the equivalent to producing enough power to service the needs of 50,000 South Australian homes. It's an extraordinary outcome. The Zero Cost Energy Future Initiative is currently estimated to reduce carbon emissions by more than 89,000 tonnes of CO2 annually. The judges acknowledged the large impact of this project and commend SA Water's leadership in investing in measures to achieve net zero emissions by 2030. Congratulations and well done. Our final category. We now move on to the research and education category. This is the Premier's Climate Change Council's first year including this category, which was open to South Australian-based individuals or organisations conducting research or delivering education to improve understanding or develop solutions to climate-related challenges and opportunities. And we all know how important research is in the sustainability space. We received a range of entries from schools, universities, research organisations and many more, with the judges being impressed with the quality of the submissions received. The Premier's Climate Change Council has selected 2 finalists in this category in addition to the winner. The first finalist is Extreme Heat and Health Adaptation Team from the University of Adelaide. Congratulations and well done. And they're finalists for their work to minimise the health impacts of extreme heat in this state. The Extreme Heat and Health Adaptation Team has been working to further examine health risks from extreme heat and develop evidence-based interventions. The team's heat and health early warning system includes interventions targeting vulnerable community members, including health education DVDs for culturally and linguistically diverse communities, and an information package for older folks, as well as practical workplace guidelines. The team's work has been noticed, with Safe Work Australia adapting their heat and work health and safety recommendations, Emergency Management Australia adopting their warning system as a national protocol, and community leaders acknowledge the importance of the health education DVDs. The work also informed SA Health's extreme heat strategy. Congratulations and well done to the University of Adelaide. our second finalist in this category. The next finalist is Flinders University for research on the impact of climate change on lymphedema patients. Congratulations to Flinders. Lymphedema is a lifelong disease that causes ongoing swelling, primarily in the arms or legs, which requires ongoing daily management to prevent progression, mostly from using firm-fitting compression stockings. Flinders University's Susan Witt, under the supervision of Professor Neil Pillar, is studying the impacts of climate change on lymphedema patients, given the increasing discomfort of treatment required during hot and humid conditions. Ms Witt is collaborating with climate and lymphedema experts across Australia and internationally to address this knowledge gap and consider better adaptations and treatment options. Ms Witt is currently based in Germany, so I'll ask Professor Pillar, who's with us, to collect the certificate on her behalf. Congratulations, Professor. And ladies and gentlemen, our winner for the research and education category. Congratulations to Bobby Lewis Bader for critical research into the impact of climate change Bobby's research is on the impact of climate change on Australian sheep production. Bobby is researching the impacts of climate change on sheep and producers and the potential ways to improve resilience and increase adaptation in sheep flocks across the nation. Bobby states that a 1% increase in global temperatures has the potential to decrease lambing rates by up to 20% in some areas of Australia, equaling financial losses of almost $97 million per annum. This research uses non-invasive technology to remotely monitor free-ranging sheep experiencing natural heat exposure. Bobby is gaining a better understanding of the physiological and behavioural factors of how sheep experience heat stress, including an animal's thermal tolerance, movement patterns, and how they use available resources. Bobby's research has potential to inform the development of new products and processes to help the sheep industry and their animals to better prepare for climate change. Their research is also a great example of collaboration involving research and education institutes, private sector, state and government partners. The judges were impressed by this innovative research and consider it critical to preparing for and building resilience to the impacts of climate change in the wider livestock industry. Bobby, congratulations and well done. This year, ladies and gentlemen, the Council has decided that the work of two other applicants deserves an honourable mention. The first honourable mention recognises the work of Dominic McAfee from the University of Adelaide for his project to minimise or optimise reef restorations to enhance the climate benefits of marine restoration. The judging panel looks forward to the outcomes of this research, in particular the associated carbon sequestration and biodiversity benefits from reef restoration. The second honourable mention is for Monkey Stack, a digital solutions production company, for their Thin Ice virtual reality experience. The recreation documentary following polar explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton's 1914 journey and later adventurer Tim Jarvis AM was considered to provide an excellent education display of the impact of climate change on the Antarctic region. Both projects were commended for their inspiring and innovative approaches. Well done to both. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to invite them up? We do. Yes, we do. And is Dominic McAfee with us? No, so I'll ask our Deputy Chair, Richard Turner, to come up and just receive the award on behalf of Dominic, if Dominic's not with us, after Monkey Stack have received their prize or their acknowledgement and their photo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment that many of us have been waiting for, and I can assure you, on behalf of the judging panel from the Premier's Climate Change Council, that this is always a monumentally difficult decision to make. The quality of applications across all 4 categories this year have been extraordinary. And when we have this award ceremony and this process in 2 years' time, we expect it to grow again. And I think that's very representative of the growth, the public cognizance, the industry action right across the board that we're all taking to address climate change in South Australia. So again, to everybody who has put in an entry this year for the Climate Leaders Awards, we say thank you and we say well done to you. And we look forward to seeing you in 2 years' time, because it's an evolving space which is just full of wonderful community efforts and a great deal of innovation. So well done. Now, the announcement which we are waiting for. The overall award and major prize tonight is drawn from our 4 category winners. And just to remind you, the category winners are CH4 Australia for their locally grown Asparagopsis seaweed supplement, Deirdre Knight, Education for Sustainability and Climate Action Advocacy, SA Water for their Zero Cost Energy Future program, Bobby Lewis Bader for researching the impact of climate change on sheep production. The recipient of this award will receive the major prize of $10,000 to be used as a contribution towards a climate-related project or action. And I am pleased, on behalf of the Premier's Climate Change Council and the Deputy Premier, to announce that the major prize winner is Bobby Lewis Bader. Now, I'm going to shortly invite Bobby to say a few words on the lectern, but before I do, Bobby's work was considered to be of great importance to the agriculture sector for the state of South Australia and across the nation. The judges were impressed with Bobby's passion and determination to finding a practical solution to improve climate change resilience in this sector. I understand Bobby's plans to use the prize money to further her research with genetic testing to identify more heat-resilient sheep genotypes that can be used to increase ovine fertility and production systems under extreme heat. Bobby's going to explain to me what that all means. This information can then help facilitate effective decision-making by producers around the purchasing and maintenance of breeding stock, as well as ensuring the animals are less likely to be impacted by heat stress. I welcome Bobby to the microphone.
Thank you, everyone. I certainly didn't expect this, so I haven't prepared anything to say. But it's always, thank you to the Climate Change Council for this opportunity. It's always nice to be recognised and supported for your research, especially early on in my career. So I'm really looking forward to using this to expand my research and better understand the impacts of heat stress and on climate change for the sheep industry. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Deputy Premier. On behalf of the Premier's Climate Change Council, on behalf of the Deputy Premier and the State Government of South Australia, on behalf of the team from the Department for Environment and Water, and on your behalf for doing such a magnificent job in terms of your leadership, congratulations to all of our finalists and category winners this evening, as well as, of course, our major prize winner, Bobby Lewis Bader. Thank you again for being involved in this year's awards program. And I look forward to highlighting more examples of climate change action and leadership in South Australia at the next awards in 2 years' time. And I invite everyone to please stay and mingle, network, enjoy a drink and collaborate, because that's a very common theme that the judges saw through the application processes, whether it's collaboration with fellow business people, with landscape boards, with First Nations, with government, with investors, whatever that might look like for you, it's all critically important as we forge a pathway forward in South Australia around climate change action. So well done and congratulations, everyone. Now, as you make your way to the rear of the room to enjoy a beverage, I will first invite all of the finalists and the category winners to the stage for a group photograph, and then that will be followed by another photograph of the members of the Premier's Climate Change Council. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you very much for your attendance. Well done.